So we haven't done a whole lot of stuff on the road trip for the last couple of days because we've been filming in San Diego and we've been filming in San Francisco. And we're going to put the GoPros back on the car tomorrow and do the final day filming. But Winter and I are travelling in the Mach-E right now. And it's very foggy out, isn't it, Winter?
Yeah, it's pretty damn miserable. If you want to wipe the window, you can see, nope, still pretty miserable.
And I've got the cruise control set to 70. I've got somebody on my bottom who is doing a good impression of a particular health problem. But because everybody on the I-5 is actually being really sensible and driving at a sensible speed, the car in front's doing 49, 50 miles an hour, and we're just tracking it using the adaptive cruise control.
And you wanna wave your hands in the air a bit so we can see in this? Yeah, because we're using BlueCruise, and I have to confess, I am very, very impressed with the way BlueCruise is just handling all the steering and throttle and everything in significant inclement weather.
So you were in your Tesla this morning coming into San Francisco from south of San Francisco.
Yeah.
And you said at one point you hit fog and the car was like, I can't use Autopilot.
Yeah, I actually have a picture of it on my phone. But yeah, the car threw up its front camera is blocked or dirty warning. Blocked or dirty, something along those lines. But yeah, the front camera is a clouded warning because the fog was so thick and I didn't have access to Autopilot. So I expected that BlueCruise was going to get into this thick fog and say, no, I'm out. But it's actually working really, really well. I think we both agree that neither ADAS system works quite as well at night.
No.
As they do during the day. But, you know, at night in heavy fog, so far, I mean, BlueCruise it hasn't kicked out in the time we're recording this video, and it hadn't kicked out for good probably 15 minutes before we recorded this video.
I had to touch the steering wheel exactly once, and I had to touch the steering wheel because we went over a piece of road that had been repaired where there weren't any lane markings.
Yeah, and it was enough. BlueCruise will work without lane markings for a short time, but yeah.
All it did though was just ask me to grab hold of the steering wheel, and then as soon as it saw lane markings again.
Yeah, it does this thing where it kicks out of full hands-free driving and turns into basically Tesla Autopilot, where it will continue to steer, but it wants your hands on the wheel. And that's what it did. It didn't actually kick out. It didn't return full control to you. It just said, like, I would feel better if you were touching my steering wheel.
Yes, because if you crash the car, it's your fault.
And we are on an awfully straight piece of road right here, but I assure you it has been taking turns, not only in good weather, but it's taken quite several turns in this absolute pea soup mess.
I mean, since we left San Francisco, I think I probably spent less than 10 minutes holding the steering wheel.
Yeah, it's been very impressive.
We left San Francisco at what, 2:30?
Something like that.
So it's coming up to 6 p.m. And
Yeah.
I've driven the entire time, or I've been in the driver's seat, and I think I probably held the steering wheel for a total of 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's been certainly very impressive.
And we've charged once.
We have charged once.
And not even fully either. It was just like to 60%. And we only had like, I think probably had 60% when we left San Francisco. So
yeah, it's not the most efficient car in history, but it does have an awfully big battery pack.
Yes.
And it's certainly not the least efficient EV on the road, or at least that will be on the road very shortly. We'll all have to see how the Hummer EV's range test does.
Yeah.
But
there we go. I mean, I would say that I'm not feeling exhausted, which is good, because I normally get really bad and drowsy in the evening, but I haven't been, because this is just easy. This is like me being a passenger, honestly.
And, you know, we've talked before, I talked a lot about my Autopilot video, about the fact that you can't fall into the mindset of being a passenger, but at the same time, BlueCruise does a really brilliant job of keeping you from falling into that mindset, because BlueCruise is very, very attentive to your face and your eyes.
Yeah.
And if you look away Even I find if you look away to look at this,
Down
to look at this screen for more than a moment, BlueCruise will alarm and tell you to grab the wheel.
Let me demonstrate. So I'm just going to look at this, and it'll start going oi in a second.
Let's see.
There
Yeah,
you go.
there it is.
The road.
Nikki returns her eyes to the road, and it clears. It didn't kick out. If she continued to look away, it would have gotten more and more and more insistent.
And then it would have braked.
Yeah.
It would have done phantom braking to kind of jerk
Jar you. Yeah.
If you cover this, it just says keep your eyes on the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
it can't see your eyes.
Because that's where the camera's on. In fact, because we're on a cell phone, you can see the blinky lights that in Nikki's original Mach-E review, a number of viewers were like, I would hate to be looking at those, but yes, we don't see those. The camera, the cell phone camera sees them, we don't. Anyway, that's a little update